Welcome to Daily Fantasy Shorts, always on point and to the point. This week's value pick video will feature 6 golfers for your DraftKings lineups for the Charles Schwab Challenge. We'll also include a brief course overview and our 5 stat categories we evaluated golfers on this week. Please be sure to stick to the end because we're going to include 3 golfers we think you should pay up for and our 4 contrarian picks, which might just be the key to the slate this week. After an amazing PGA championship, we head to Fort Worth. Charles Schwab Challenge, Colonial Country Club. This is a par 70, 7,209 yards, bent grass greens. They call them lightning greens because they're fast. They're also small. The layout of this course is tight, tree line, a lot of dog legs. So we have a shot shapers course, mostly for accurate off the tee and especially accuracy off the fairway. The weather this week will be in the 80s. We have only one day so far that looks like we'll be dealing with wind. That's Thursday, 10 to 13 miles per hour around lunchtime and a little bit thereafter. Friday and Saturday we could see some precipitation. It is in the forecast, but be sure to check back before tee off to make sure that we have accurate weather information and make any adjustments you may need. Now that we have an idea about this tight layout with a lot of dog legs, we've got our 5 categories which have indicated previous success at Colonial. Strokes gained approach, the most important category this week to evaluate golfers on. This has always been a high performance indicator at Colonial, and it is yet again this week. Number 2, strokes gained putting. Rarely will we ever include this in our evaluation week to week, but at Colonial, strong putting does indicate strong performance. Number 3, driving accuracy. With such a tight layout, with so many trees and a lot of dog legs, it's very important we have accurate drivers this week. Number 4, strokes gained tee to green. This is going to also include driving accuracy, but this encompasses the tee second shot advance to green shot as well. So I think that's a very important category for us to focus on this week. And number 5, scrambling. This category is the least weighted of our 5 categories this week, but past performance in scrambling has been also an indicator of success at Colonial. And that brings us to our 6 value picks under 8,500 on DraftKings. Number 1, Matt Wallace, 8,200 on DraftKings, 10th in approach, 14th tee to green. He's also 57th in putting, and he fits the mold of an accurate shooter. Emiliano Grillo at 7,900 on DraftKings is our 2nd value pick this week, 12th in approach, very strong in that category, 35th tee to green, and I'm not concerned with the average performance at the PGA Championship this past weekend. That was an extremely difficult course. He performed very well in the weeks leading up to it. I expect a bounce back this week. Patton Cassier, 7,400, is our 3rd pick this week. 14th in putting, 64th in approach. But what I'm concerned about is his performance at his most recent tournament, the Byron Nelson. He was 4th in both of those categories, and those are critical categories this week. If he can continue that play and strong putting, he's going to be a great value at 7,400. Matthew Nesmith at 7,300 is 8th in approach. He's 45th in accuracy off the tee. He's also 31st in tee to green. I think he's a good play this week. He's had some decent tournaments this year. Maybe we can count on him at 7,300 on DK. Russell Knox, also at 7,300, is our 5th value play this week. He's 22nd in approach. He's 45th tee to green, and he's 7th in green and regulation. Now, we didn't count that stat this week, but that just tells you that he is nailing the greens, and his approach is on this year. So we're going to go for Knox at 7,300 on DraftKings. And finally, JT Poston, 6,900 on DraftKings. He's 5th in putting. He's got course history, and we know this course rewards great putters. Poston's an outstanding putter. 6,900 is a value. We'll include him in our lineups this week. And finally, to conclude, we have our 3 players to pay up for and our 4 contrarian picks. This week's 3 to pay up for starts with Collin Morikawa at 10,500. He hits all the categories. He has course history, and he's looked great in his recent weeks. I think he's a great time to pay up for Collin Morikawa at one of the most highest points on the slate, 10,500. Second, Abraham Answer at 9,700. He's also hitting in all categories, firing on all cylinders. I don't know if you saw his last round at the PGA Championship, but it was exceptional, bogey-free. If he continues on that pace, he's going to have a great weekend. Our last player to pay up for this week is Corey Connors at 9,400. Another high-priced player that is hitting in all categories, has a little bit of course history, and is playing well. I think these three players are safe to pay up for this week on DraftKings. And let's not forget our daily fantasy shorts for contrarian plays. This week we have Peter Uihlein, 7,500. He's hot on the Corn Ferry Tour right now. He finished third in the Zurich Classic. Not to mention he has course history, finishing 14th and 13th his prior two appearances. This is a good time to buy low on Peter Uihlein at 7,500 on DraftKings. Troy Merritt, I'm not so concerned with his overall play this year as I am his last three tournaments. He's got two top 10s, and he is gaining strokes in all four strokes gained categories, which is phenomenal. That means he may be catching fire, and at 7,000, he's worth a shot on DraftKings. C.T. Penn at 7,200 on DraftKings is our third contrarian pick this week. He comes in good form. He's got course history in 2018 and 2019. He has back-to-back top 20s here, and I'm not worried about his miscut in 2020 because his form is much better now than it was last year. So we'll give him a shot. C.T. Penn at 7,200 DK. And Sahith Theegala closes out our contrarian picks this week at 6,500 on DK. He is in the tournament by exemption. He won the Ben Hogan Award last year. He was a college standout, and he's had some varied success on the Corn Ferry Tour. Hasn't really cracked it on the PGA Tour, but what better time than now at 6,500 on DK. And as always, thank you for joining me this week. Please like and subscribe. Daily Fantasy Shorts on YouTube. Good luck, and we'll see you again next week.